Closing the Door to Suicide YouTube channel. If you are in urgent need of suicide prevention, urgent meaning not able to concentrate on a video, please call now. Do not delay. In the United States, call 800-273-8255, or you can text the word START, S-T-A-R-T, to 741-741. In Canada and nationwide, you can dial 911. Otherwise, please stay tuned to the following video. Thank you. Hi there, I'm Barbara Hennessy. I am a level 1 certified life enhancement coach with a specialty in post-traumatic stress. I'm also a nationally certified rehabilitation counselor, working with people who've been injured or in an accident and have acquired a permanent disability. I specifically focus on disabled veterans and injured workers. In the first part of this video, you're going to learn a process to help you get started, and I will come back and help you with the actual brain sweep portion of our video on closing the door to suicide.
Hi, my name is Karen Savard. I am the originator of the brain sweep systems that are renowned for eliminating the symptoms of PTSD and other forms of trauma and hyperanxiety, and to do so without the use of medication. As a professional, I have been doing this work for my clients for around the globe for over 35 years. Today, I'm using the brain sweep system to help you to permanently close the door to suicide. Every human being needs to do this process. Even if you do not believe that you do, the reason is simple. Every human being has learned to learn from experience. If you have ever heard or read of anyone dying from suicide, then your mind has learned that humans can get desperate enough to kill themselves. If you've ever seen an animal lose someone that the animal loves more than anything, to the point that the animal simply quits eating and quits drinking water and then quits sleeping until the animal finally dies, then you have definitely learned that love can lead to severe loss. The pain of that loss can end the will to live. If you watch the news on TV, then you've seen stories of people in so much emotional pain that they have killed their own family and then committed suicide. You need to understand that the minute your mind heard these stories, your mind immediately made suicide an option that can be chosen. Not even your religion can protect you if you are feeling dark enough to drown out the idea that you are loved by your God. Sadly, the silence surrounding suicide only adds on to the likelihood that a human will not reach out to others before it is too late. And saddest of all, for so many families and so many friends. It is a huge misperception and a total fallacy that only mentally ill people choose to commit suicide. There are good people who want to die. There are also good people who simply do not want to live with the pain of living anymore. Any human being can lose the will to keep trying to survive the pain of living. Please listen to this fact. When a human is suffering, the chemicals produced in the body can literally overwhelm the mind's capacity to make the right choice. That is precisely why every human being needs to choose to care enough for you and for your loved ones to take the precaution of closing the door to suicide. If you are suffering right now or feeling numb, or already enraged enough to be seeing this video because you are already wanting to use suicide to end your pain, then I'm asking you to please listen. I'm asking you to please try. Please try to stay alive long enough to finish this video. Understand this. You have a right as a human being to have this chance to get you free of the chemistry that has led you to feeling desperate enough to simply want to be done with trying. You deserve this opportunity. You deserve the opportunity to know how you will feel after you try to do the brain sweep technique. Know this, the brain sweep technique will immediately help you to reduce the negative chemicals that are negatively affecting your thinking. Brain sweep uses neurokinesis to intensify the positive effect of working with the brain instead of the mind. Brain sweep teaches you to apply a simplistic form of neurokinesis to effectively train your brain how to direct your body to immediately respond rather than react. Responding produces the chemicals that always reduce the brain to body demand to produce the chemical change that prompt reactive states of self-isolation and other negative forms of survivalism. Simply put, what this really says, neurokinesis does for the brain what acupressure can do for the body. That is why brain sweep will enable you to eliminate the feeling of needing or wanting to harm you or punish you. Please try to understand this. This is not a criticism of you. Negative reactive states can produce serious chemical change that can lead anyone's mind to mistakenly thinking that suicide is the only answer that makes sense. Thinking that way does not mean that you are mentally ill. It does mean that you're experiencing a harmful reactive state. In a minute, you and I will do a simple brain sweep technique that will immediately reduce all of the painful thoughts and pain-filled feelings that are making you feel anxious or depressed or worse. Brain sweep uses a simple pattern of touch that prompts all of the organs in your body to respond together instead of reacting. Brain sweep will use your own touch to trigger your neurons to produce a response that will eliminate the reaction that causes anxiety states. With practice, meaning with the consistent use of the brain sweep system, your brain, can be taught by you how to use the brain sweep response technique to gain the immediate access to profound insight that permanently relieves any and all forms of the self-deception or the misperception that leads to suicide. Let's begin. Today, you will learn 3 things to do the second that you feel any form of negative stress. Step 1. Now I'm going to teach you a tool that you can choose to use whenever you feel bad, whenever you are sad and or anxious. It even helps with depression and rage. And please understand, and please listen to this proven fact. The more often that you choose to use this technique in your daily life, the more your brain learns to use the technique to produce the chemicals that instantly and naturally enable humans to feel much better much sooner. You will instantly be much more in control of your emotions and your feelings. Let's begin now, please. Now, you can sit down or you can stand up. You can even do this technique lying down, but you can't keep driving or doing anything like that. Now, just find a focal point on the wall or surface in front of you. Imagine a single dot and focus on the dot, real or imagined. and then stare at the center of the dot. Now, hold that stare, and without turning your head, move your eyes only to the right. And hold. Then move your eyes back to the center. Focus again on the center of the dot and hold. Now, without turning your head, turn your eyes only to the left and hold. Then back to the center. Now, simply lower your eyes if you want to relax more, and simply think of a time when you were really enjoying yourself. Now, it can be any time, anywhere, any age. Whether you were younger or when you were older, it does not matter. Just pick a time, a memory of when you were laughing, really feeling good while you were laughing. When you're having such a good time, either you, yourself, were alone or with others, but having a good time. Or simply imagine a time like that as if you were acting in a movie. Imagine, pretend, or remember laughing very hard from deep inside you and having so much fun getting everyone around you to laugh as well. Now feel that time in your body. Let the laughter come forward now. Just laugh as if it's happening right here, right now. Remember, you're laughing so hard that tears are streaming down your face. Think again about how you couldn't even look at your friends without laughing harder. Now, think about trying to tell someone else why you're laughing so hard. But you can only laugh harder as your voice squeaks and your nose snorts from the laughter coming through every cell of your body. Good. It feels so good just to let go and truly laugh so hard. You can even let go and let more tears stream down your face as you simply let go and let yourself truly laugh out loud without holding anything back. Hear the sound in your mind. Feel the movement in your body. Feel how good it feels. You simply feel free to have a moment, your moment, where nothing else matters except for feeling this happy, this good, this complete. Please notice how this moment has changed how you're feeling. Now you can even increase the thrill of laughing to the point where no sound can manage to come out. Feel it magnified times 10 because you're laughing so hard deep inside. Feel the release. You can laugh out loud. Feel the release and the relief. And take a deep breath and continue smiling with each and every muscle in your face. And recalling how good it feels to feel free enough to actually laugh. Now you know with a certainty that you can use this process that's called the laughing technique anytime and every time that you feel depressed or down, anytime that you feel sad or enraged, anytime you're numb and empty, feeling too alone, too isolated, anytime that you do not care enough about you or other people, you now know, you know how to bring yourself back to a better place, simply using the laughter technique. The laughter technique can always work for you and your brain. If sometimes your mind is in the way and you find it hard laughing or even think about wanting to laugh, go ahead and actually pretend to laugh because the brain responds to it. And within seconds, sometimes minutes most, you'll feel the smile start and you'll feel the laughter start. That's all it takes is get it started and the chemistry that you need to feel good starts being produced. Please make a commitment to you to use this laughing technique every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, or as often as you need to. You can't do it too long or too often, especially in the beginning if you've been feeling really sad and depressed, or if you don't feel well, or you feel enraged or angry and you just can't seem to keep going. Use it every few minutes. Just keep it going. You can even go on YouTube and places like that and get pictures and watch pictures that are funny and collect them and jokes and those type of things. Anything that will make you laugh or even smile. On the really tough days, you can even use the laughing technique every single hour of every single day until you no longer feel any form of depression or sadness or rage or sorrow ever again. Make a commitment to you to do this. Commit to your commitment right here, right now, please. Say to yourself, I will smile and use the laughing technique the second I need to. I will never allow myself to start getting depressed and let it keep on getting depressed or start feeling rage and let my rage grow. From now on, I'm stepping up and I'm going to immediately start using the laughing technique. And I can go online, I can find Brain Sweet website, I can get the help I need to laugh. Okay? Now keep that commitment to you. Keep the good feeling because now we're going to do step number 2 together. You are ready to learn step number 2 next. I'm going to begin by reading something to you. And now I'm simply asking that you sit back and relax as much as you can in this moment and simply close down your eyes and listen. Listen to every single word I use to help you help yourself. I'm speaking to the brain. Please allow yourself to listen and hear how you can finally, truly end all of your deepest pain. I'm asking you to imagine or dream of a safe room that you built for yourself. A room just for you where you are perfectly safe. A place that you are happy to have as your room, as a room to return to whenever you want to and whenever you need to. Please just picture yourself in your room, in your mind. Create that picture. Feel safe there, comfortable, listening, and relaxing. Please listen to each and every word from inside of your deepest parts of you. I know there are times when your life seems so hard that it feels like the only way out of the struggle is to die. Sometimes when everything goes wrong, it can feel like it is just too hard, way too hard to do another minute. And you no longer want to live. You may even feel that way in a part of you right now. That's okay. That part of you that goes to that thought, the pain-filled thought about wanting to die, about wanting to end your pain by dying, by simply quitting breathing, by not living. In your moment of sorrow and grief, disappointment or shame or exhaustion, you may begin by opening a door to the idea of dying. And you open you up to dreaming, daydreaming or night dreaming or both. Dreaming a little bit about that possibility of it being over, of it being done, finished, and gone. Sadly, when you feel this empty, you can open the door to the idea of dying. Those are the times when you can't figure out your next step. Those are the moments that feel overwhelming. Yet those are also the moments when you have absolutely nothing left to draw on. Maybe in this helpless emptiness, you may feel that opening that door to suicide all of the way will end your suffering and end the pain. For a moment, suicide can feel like a simple way out of disappointing others that depend on you and care about you. Sometimes, sadly, suicide can seem like a perfect solution. Those are the moments when you are trapped in the old ways of looking at life as if there is no other choice left to you but to die. Suicide can even seem like it is the only way that you can end your pain and your disappointment, and you do so forever. Or you may believe in reincarnation, and you may think you can just end it and start over. But you must realize right here and right now that ending your life that way is not your destiny. That's not the answer for you, or you would not be here right now, right here, listening and seeing exactly what you need to understand. You need to understand that what you need is here. And yes, what you need is here for you to use right here and right now and always will be. The help you sought is here. You know that I'm speaking the truth, don't you? I can tell that you do. I want you to know that you don't have to figure it all out right now. I just want you to also know and understand there's another way, another choice. And you can take this time now to open your mind to the freedom of another possibility. Go inside, deep inside you, and think of a time when you felt very alive, when you felt loving and joy. That moment was all there is. You didn't care in that moment about what other people thought. You were just at peace, enjoying, feeling, loving, just feeling like you're here and it's worth being here. There's a memory you have held on to just to use in this moment. I'm asking you to do it. Think of a time when you are beyond happy. Doesn't mean it happened often, and it may be a long time ago. It's just that somewhere you felt happy. And if you need to, for this very moment, for you to remind you of how being alive and loving feels, you can imagine something that you've seen on TV or in a movie or read about in a book, and you really wished you had it for you. And in this moment, I'm going to suggest to you strongly that you pretend to have it, be in it, feel it, so you know what it feels like, and make that your promise to you. The goal that you set for you is that this is going to become your reality. Like I said, if you think you have no memory of you ever feeling this way, it's not a problem. Again, I'm going to say, just imagine like it was or is on a TV show, a movie, or a memory of someone else you watched that felt so happy to be alive that you could see it all over them. And you wanted the same feeling, the same thoughts, the same way of being alive that they have. You can imagine what it feels like to be that happy. And it will instantly feel like it is how you feel right here, right now. Just imagine it. Make it happen inside your body, inside your mind. Make it happen. Use your brain to do it. Good. Now feel it in every cell of your body. Enjoy this moment. Feel how good it feels to feel this free and this real and this alive. And know now it is real. The help you needed is here. It's in you for you. This is your aha moment. This is the moment when you finally feel free of all of the pain that came from thinking that you had no control over how badly you felt just a few minutes ago. You've already changed that. You now know the truth. Your brain is your strength that is always available to you to use as your tool to help you in any given moment. Your brain just needs to learn what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And that's what we're here for. Brain Sweep can help your brain to learn what to do to save you from the pain of living. You can now allow this to be the new choice you go to whenever you're not sure of your next step. Remember that you can remember that. You don't have to figure it all out in this moment or any other moment. Instead of exhausting you, learn to help you all day, every day. Just go to this place and bring the strength forward for you to help you. The strength to choose to use your imagination, your memories to help you instead of scare you. Right now, please instantly do it again so your brain learns how quickly you can do it and how quickly it will help you. Remember laughing and start relaxing in your body now. Good. Now focus on how good it feels to laugh and feel how safe you feel to understand this is all you have to do when you're starting to feel bad or lose your idea that life is worth anything or that you're worth anything. You simply have to use your mind to figure out a memory or you use your brain to make one up and imagine it so that in that moment you produce the chemicals that will help you. You will now be ready to listen and ready to grow. You will be ready to receive everything you need going forward with our person who is stepping up to help you to learn how to help yourself. That person's going to be here next after me, right here, right now. It is time now for you to understand, for you to know for certain. It is time to close the door. It's time to close the windows. It is time to close up and seal every tiny crack, every crevice, every peephole, everywhere in your safe room that possibly ever included the idea of condoning or accepting or allowing suicide as an answer. End it here. For you, for your loved ones, end it now. Begin you by saying, never again will I ever forget what I have learned today about what I have, my power, the insight to do what is right for me, right now and always. You know that you can use the laughing technique to lift you up enough to get you to accept the help you need. You'll need to just learn to not wait, not postpone it, any of it. You just do it as soon as you're feeling bad and do it for you, from you, whenever you need it. So never again will you ever need or want to hurt you or harm you or hurt the people who love you and care about you. Even when your negative chemicals can make you doubt it, you know this is the true truth. Never again is there a legitimate reason for you to choose to harm you or hurt you, or worse, to choose to hurt the people who love you. Now, you've learned that there is a way to instantly feel better and stronger I would like you to take a moment and see and feel each of the people who would have a really hard time surviving losing you. Think of them. See their faces in your mind. Remember them, love them, and care. I'm asking you to care enough to care about these people and know that you have made the right choice, which is to close the door to suicide forever. Never again will you allow negative chemistry to fool you into believing suicide is an answer. Even the threat today, right here, right now, feel you closing the door to suicide forever and always. For you and for everyone who cares about you. Lock it and seal it closed forever and always. Feel how good that feels to know you're finally safe, that you got help and more help is on the way. I want you to open your eyes, awaken, refreshed and relieved, and knowing that you are finally safe. And now you can accept the help you need and deserve for going forward. Step 3 is what you get to learn to use to help you forever. Get ready to meet someone who is ready to help you receive exactly what you need for you for every day going forward. And thank you for listening.
Welcome back. Again, I'm Barbara Hennessy with a background in vocational rehabilitation and a certification as a life enhancement coach with brain sweep and post-traumatic stress. I specifically work with disabled veterans and injured workers. I'm going to take you through the next stage of the brain sweep 3-part system so that from this day forward, you will be able to relieve all of your negative stress in a healthy and beneficial way. In step 3, you'll quickly learn a simple method to activate your brain to end all of your mental and emotional struggles in minutes. Today, together, we'll get done the death of the problem instead of the death of you. Any form of resisting, freezing, or selecting punishment will end here, today, right here and right now. Think of your day. And remember when and how you get stressed out, especially the stress that leads to bad choices, especially the stress that leads to you numbing you with alcohol, drugs, or worse, or the type of stress that causes you to be mean to you and your loved ones, especially the kind that causes you to feel rage and frustration that leads to risking harming you and others. People who've been involved in an accident or injured on the job have a lot of grief and a lot of mixed emotions around what's happened to them. They're in a transition. Things are not the same as they were before the event happened. And oftentimes there's a mix of feelings. There definitely can be rage and frustration. You're not healing as fast as you should. The process isn't working. The drugs just make you numb or make you want to sleep all the time. Because oftentimes the disabilities, definitely there's a physical component in most instances, but there's also cognitive components and emotional components. So there's anger that you can't get out and do what you used to do. There's grief or depression because you feel like there's no use for you anymore. So there's no wonder that there are times that you feel rage and frustration that could possibly lead you to harming yourself and others. And also there's the stress that leads you to wanting to run away from anyone and everyone. But please watch me and learn the science of neurokinesis. Neurokinesis can be used anytime and anywhere on your body, but works the fastest and quickest when you use it to stimulate your brain to act on your body. And for your information, the more you practice this simple technique, the more efficient you will get at focusing enough attention to make the technique make you feel relieved immediately. We're going to do 2 processes of this neurokinesis technique today. The first part is using the hands only. The second part is using the hands specifically on areas of the brain. But I want to show you the hand technique because it's something you can use, again, anytime and anywhere, especially in times and places where using the hand techniques to stimulate the brain is awkward or uncomfortable for you. So first of all, it's important that you make sure that your hands have the fingers close together and the thumb tucked up in there, because the thumb is going to tend to want to stick up or move around. But you're stimulating acupressure points and nerve endings on the top of the hand and the bottom of the other hand. It's always starting with the right hand moving first over the top of the left hand, and then we will go to the left hand moving over the top of the right hand. So we stimulate both sides of the brain. Remember, acupressure points, nerve endings in here, all the nerve endings of the body are in areas of your hand. So as you stimulate the hand, you're stimulating organs and functions that go back and impact the brain directly. So I want to show you the hand technique first. Again, fingers snug together, thumb tucked in. It's not an excessive amount of pressure or strain. It's just holding the fingers close together. And there's a hollow underneath each hand, like so, a cupping. And in that space, you're going to put the uncomfortable emotions, the uncomfortable feelings, the memories. You may be having issues with sleep disturbance, and there's events that you're reliving over and over, that's your brain being stuck, and we're going to unstick it. But you can put that under the hand, and as you work the top of the hand, you're going to release the intensity of that feeling or emotion. So you always start, right hand's going to move over the top of the left hand first. Left hand's facing you, the thumb is facing you, the little finger side is away. And you're going to move across the hand first between the wrist and the knuckles. And it's just a stroking motion. It's not a whole lot of pressure. It's really important that the heel of the hand touch the side of the hand and the finger. You're stimulating a certain part of the brain and organs when you do that. So you come across the heel of the hand. It's down here. It's going to come along this side of the hand and come back between the knuckles and the fingertips of the left hand. And repeat it again. I'm just going to move so you can see it from different angles. Remember, it's a mirror to you when you're looking at a video. Just remember, it's right hand going over left hand first. And it's a constant, smooth motion. You want to make sure the contact is continuous. Otherwise, you may experience some uncomfortable physical sensations. And we certainly don't need any more of those. Heel of the hand coming across, stimulating the side of the palm and the side of the little finger. Okay, now let's do the left hand over the right again. Oh, also, something to remember about that hollow or that cup, you should be able to put a wadded up Kleenex in there and it'll stay. If it's too flat, the Kleenex will not stay up there. So you want to make sure that the Kleenex will stay in there. You've got space for that uncomfortable feeling or emotion to go. So left hand, left hand over right hand. Right hand's thumb is facing you, side of the palm and little finger is away. There's that hollow under the hand. And you start between the wrist and the knuckles of the right hand and move the left hand across. It's important that you remember to stimulate the knuckles when you go away and you come back, because there's very important nerve endings and acupressure points in that area of the hand as well. Remember, heel of the hand comes and touches the side of the palm and the side of the little finger. So when you go away from you, make sure you get that heel on that part of your hand, and then come back between the knuckles and the fingertips. You want to stimulate the thumb. So you want your hand a little sideways initially to rub on that thumb and then away. So you can put, memories and incidents, events, they all have a charge of an emotion around them, and you can put those things under the hands. You can have them down in your lap. I just have them up here so you can see this real easily. And I'm just going to move again so you can see it from another angle in case you have any questions about what you're doing. The count, no more than 8 rotations each hand. Anywhere between 4 and 8 is generally best. And so sometimes whatever you can do is good, but strive to have 4 and 8 rotations on each hand. So I'm going to do it one more time, starting right hand over left. You come along the thumb, so you're rubbing on this side. Then you come across the top of the hand. Heel of the palm is here on the side of the hand and the little finger, and then back across towards you. And you just repeat it. It's smooth and continuous. You want to maintain good contact between the bottom of the right hand and the top of the left. So you're stimulating all those acupressure points and nerve endings that go right to the brain and shift the brain. And then left hand over right. Remember the hollow. That Kleenex will stay in there. That way you have enough of a hollow. If not, it'll fall out. And make sure that the thumb is tucked. For me, I tend to have my thumb want to poke up, so I'm pretty conscious of that. But you start on the side of the hand, rubbing across the side of the thumb, and then between the knuckles and the wrist away, heel of the left hand rubs along the side of the right hand and right little finger, and then come back across those knuckles towards you. Excellent. Okay, now you have the hand technique to use anytime and anywhere something comes up that's uncomfortable or producing anxiety or stress for you, and it's not a place where you feel comfortable doing the next part of the brain sweep that I'm going to show you, that's actually moving your hand over specific parts of your brain. Now I'm going to demonstrate the brain sweep technique to you, where we use the hands on different aspects of the brain. We're going to go around 4 sections of the brain, starting with the frontal lobe, then the right hemisphere, then the left hemisphere, then the crown. And after we complete the rotations of the hand over the crown, we then send that energy down the spine and out the tailbone. And the directionality of the rotation is very important. So I will be reminding you and cueing you of what direction you're using and what hand you're using. Because again, we do right hand first and then left hand on each section of the brain, while focusing on certain thoughts and feelings, putting those under the hand and releasing them from the brain. So the crown of the head, it's very important that you find that spot where the skull bones fuse together. Every child is born with a soft spot there where those skull bones haven't quite hardened up, and that's the area that you want to place your hand over. You're not touching the head or the sections of the brain like you are when you did the hand technique. You're just having the hand a small distance apart. It's just hovering over that part of the brain. And again, be aware of the thumb. It's important that the thumb stays tucked. It tends to want to creep up and stick out. It's important to keep it tucked and keep the contact between the fingers when you do the part over the brain. So we're going to start with the frontal lobe. And the movement is the right temple up along the hairline to the left temple and back across the nose. And it's a small, concentrated movement. Think of stirring a vortex in that third eye in your frontal lobe. So we're going to start with the right hand, and then we're going to do the left hand. And I want you to focus on these thoughts and feelings, putting them under the hand and releasing them from the brain. So first, frontal lobe, right hand. Movement is right temple up to forehead, left temple across the nose. Release any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of shame, any thoughts of blaming yourself. You're going to move to the right hemisphere. Heel of the hand is on the ear by the jawbone. Fingers a little bit forward. You're just going to rotate it around. Again, a small concentrated motion over this right hemisphere. So release any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of shame, any thoughts of blaming yourself. Then the right hand moves to the left hemisphere. Again, heel to hand is by the jawbone at the ear. Fingers, it's a little bit awkward, but fingers are a little forward, and the movement is that concise rotation. So focus on any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of shame, any thoughts of blaming yourself. Now move to the crown. The movement of the crown is front, left hemisphere, back, right hemisphere, and it's a small motion right over that area where the bones fuse together. Release any thoughts of harming yourself. So front, left, back, right. Any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of shame, any thoughts of blame, any thoughts of blaming yourself, and then release it down the tailbone, down the spine, and out the tailbone. Now we move to the left hand. Again, be mindful of your thumb. Your hand is placed over the frontal lobe. You're going to move right temple, hairline left, and back across the bridge of the nose. Small motion right over that third eye in your frontal lobe. So you're going to release any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of shame, any thoughts of blaming yourself. Move to the right hemisphere. Again, the heel of the hands over the ear and the jawbone, releasing any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of shame, any thoughts of blaming yourself. So you move toward the temple and then back toward the spine and right to the front of the right hemisphere. So that movement. Left hemisphere, heel of hand covers the jawbone. Same thing, sweep back toward the spine and then to the front of the left hemisphere. Release any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of blame, any thoughts of shame. And the crown, thumb is tucked, you're over that section of the crown, and this time you move front, right, back, left. Release any thoughts of harming yourself, any thoughts of hurting yourself, any thoughts of blame, or excuse me, any thoughts of shame, any thoughts of blaming yourself, and release that energy down the spine and out the tailbone after the last rotation over the crown. Right hand again, thumb is tucked, starting with the frontal lobe. Release any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones. Right hand over the right hemisphere. Any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, release. Any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones. You're putting that in the hollow under the hand and releasing it as you go over the brain. Now right hand goes to left hemisphere. Release any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones. And move to the crown with the right hand, and the movement is front, left hemisphere, back, right hemisphere. So front, left, back, right, front, left, back, right. Release any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones, and then release that energy down the spine and out the tailbone. Left hand, frontal lobe, be mindful of your thumb, right temple, up along hairline to left temple, bridge of nose, and back to the right side. And remember, I'm saying it because I'm a mirror, so it can be confusing if you don't have these directions. So any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones, release it. Left hand goes to the right hemisphere. Release any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones. Left hand to left hemisphere, your palm is by your ear and your jawbone, and you move toward the back of the skull and then back and then to the front. Release any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones. And you move up to the crown, thumb is tucked, and this time it's front, right, back, left. Release any thoughts of negating your worth and value to others, any thoughts of being scared, any thoughts of being frightened, any thoughts of disgracing you or your loved ones. And then release this energy down the spine and out the tailbone. After the fourth rotation over the crown, it's important that you release that energy. Right hand, frontal lobe, thumb is tucked. Release any form of self-punishment, any form of justification of self-punishment, any and all forms of condemnation or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance. Go to the right hemisphere, release any form of self-punishment, any form of justification of self-punishment, any and all forms of self-condemnation or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance. Left hand goes to left hemisphere, release any form of self-punishment, any form of justification for self-punishment, any and all forms of self-deception or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance. Now we go up to the crown, and with the right hand, the movement is front, left hemisphere, back of brain, right hemisphere, and it's a small motion right over that area of the crown where the bones came together. So release any form of self-punishment, any form of justification of self-punishment, any and all forms of self-condemnation or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance, and then release the energy down the spine and out the tailbone. Left hand, frontal lobe, thumb is tucked. Any form of self-punishment, right hemisphere, right temple, up along hairline to left temple, and then across the bridge of the nose, back to the right temple. Any form of justification of self-punishment, any and all forms of self-condemnation or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance. Left hand is on the right hemisphere. Movement is toward the back of the skull and then back toward the front. Any form of self-punishment, any form of justification of self-punishment, any and all forms of self-condemnation or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance. Left hand to the left hemisphere, movement is back and forward. Release any form of self-punishment, any form of justification of self-punishment, any and all forms of self-condemnation or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance. Left hand over the crown, so you go front, right, back, left. Release any form of self-punishment, any form of justification of self-punishment, any and all forms of self-condemnation or isolation, any and all forms of deception, addiction, or defiance, and release it down the spine and out the tailbone with the left hand. Back to our right hand. This time we just repeat one very important thought and feeling that you need to release from the brain. Right hand over the frontal lobe, any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Going to the right hemisphere, release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. And that's 4 motions over the hemisphere. Right hand to the left hemisphere, release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. 4 rotations over the left hemisphere. Now we're at the crown. It's front, left hemisphere, back, right. Release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Release that down the spine and out the tailbone with the right hand. Now we go to the left hand over the frontal lobe. Thumb is tucked. Again, we're moving right, front, left, and across. Release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. 4 rotations, right hemisphere with the left hand. Release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Left hemisphere, release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Left hand to the crown. The movement now is front, right, back, left. Release any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Any and all forms of delaying your immediate success. Release that down your spine and out your tailbone. Release all of that energy. It's always a good idea to have fluid available. I recommend water. You're releasing a lot of toxins out of your brain. So it's really important that you hydrate well. If you don't have it with you now, hydrate well afterwards. Right hand, frontal lobe, thumb is tucked. We're going to release any and all forms of resistance to learn to replace punishment with positive discipline. Any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. Release any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, any form of failing is no longer an option. And you're ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment, ending any contract that contains any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you. Now we move to the right hemisphere with the right hand. Release any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, any form of failing is no longer an option. Ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment, ending any contract that contains any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you. Right hand goes to the left hemisphere. Release any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, any form of failing is no longer an option. Ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment, ending any contract that contains any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you. Back to the crown with the right hand. Movement is front, left hemisphere, back of brain, right hemisphere. Release any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, any form of failing is no longer an option. Ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment, ending any contract that contains any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you, and release that energy down the spine and out the tailbone. Now to the left hand, frontal lobe. Release any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, failure is no longer an option. Any form of failing is no longer an option. Ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment, ending any contract that contains any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you. Left hand to the right hemisphere. Release any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, any form of failing is no longer an option. Ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment. Ending any contract that contains any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you. Left hand and left hemisphere. Any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, any form of failing is no longer an option. Ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment. Ending any contract that contains any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you. Left hand's over the crown. Movement is front, right hemisphere, back, left. Release any and all forms of resistance to learning to replace punishment with positive discipline. And know this, from this moment forward, any form of failing is no longer an option. Ending any silent or secret contract with the self that includes punishment. Ending any contract that contains a sense of obligation, any sense of an obligation to lose something or someone that means everything to you, and release that energy down the spine and out the tailbone. Right hand, frontal lobe. Be mindful of that thumb being tucked in. Movement right, front, right forehead, left, across. New contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about you to discipline you without harming you, to listen and learn to listen to what you're doing right for the right reasons, and do your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and those that love and care about you, now, always, and forever. Right hand goes to the right hemisphere. We start with the heel over the ear or the jawbone. New contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is that you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about you to discipline you without harming you, to listen and learn to listen to what you're doing right for the right reasons, and start your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and for those that love and care about you, now, always, and forever. Right hand over the left hemisphere. New contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about you to discipline you without harming you, to listen and learn to listen to what you are doing right for the right reasons, and do your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and those that love and care about you, now, always, and forever. Right hand over the crown. The movement is front, left, back of brain, right. New contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about you to discipline you without harming you, to learn and to listen and learn to listen to what you're doing right for the right reasons, and do your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and for those that love and care about you, now, always, and forever. Release that energy down the spine and out the tailbone. Now left hand, frontal lobe. thumb tucked, right forehead left cross. The new contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about you to discipline you without harming you. To listen and learn to listen to what you're doing right for the right reasons and do your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and those that love and care about you now, always, and forever. Right, left hand over the right hemisphere, new contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about yourself to discipline you without harming you. To listen and learn to listen to what you're doing right for the right reasons and do your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and for those that love and care about you now, always, and forever. Left hand to the left hemisphere, new contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about you to discipline you without harming you. To listen and learn to listen to what you're doing right for the right reasons and do your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and for those that love and care about you now, always, and forever. Left hand at the crown, movement is front, right hemisphere, back of brain, and left. New contract with the self for right here, right now, and moving forward. The new contract is you will prove to yourself and every single person that cares about you that you start your day knowing enough about you to discipline you without harming you. To listen and learn to listen to what you're doing right for the right reasons and do your day that way. So when you lay your head down at night, you can use your sleep to keep you healthy and well for your sake and those that love and care about you now, always, and forever. Release that energy down the spine and out the tailbone. Remember, you've done a lot of work. You've released a lot of toxins. It's important that you hydrate, drink some water. I want to thank you for listening and participating. I have a team of trained professionals who can help you going forward from this moment on. There's lots of options, support systems available through our program, online radio show 24/7, online classes with free weekly support groups, and there's a team of people standing by ready to help you from this moment on. My name is Barbara Hennessy. My email is barb@thejoywithin.us. My website is www.thejoywithin.us. That is my business name. I trust that you will let the healing begin with the joy within. Thank you again for listening and participating.